Just when we thought the Christian Horner scandal is being put to rest, Jos Verstappen pours gasoline on the fire. He says that the Red Bull dynasty will fall apart if they choose to keep the recently disgraced team principal on the team. Plus, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem is under fire for allegedly fixing races. Plenty for you to unpack today, so without further ado, let's get started. Jos Verstappen, a former Formula One driver and the father of three-time F1 world champion Max Verstappen, voiced his concern over Red Bull's choice to retain team principal Christian Horner, suggesting that it could potentially divide the team. After Max Verstappen clinched victory in the season-opening race at the Bahrain Grand Prix, his father shared a few words with the Daily Mail saying, "There is tension while he remains in position. The team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't go on the way it is. It will explode. He is playing the victim when he is the one causing the problems." Red Bull shared with CNN in a statement on Monday that, "This is untrue. We are united as a team and we are concentrating on racing." In February, Red Bull initiated an independent investigation following accusations against Horner for alleged inappropriate behaviour towards an unnamed member of the racing team. Last week, the investigation concluded that Horner was not involved in any wrongdoing. Just a day later, alleged leaked messages surfaced and were circulated among members of the F1 community on Thursday, originating from an anonymous email address. These messages, contained within a Google Drive, consisted of WhatsApp exchanges. They were anonymously distributed to prominent race officials, teams, and journalists worldwide. Red Bull issued a statement addressing the mass email. They said, "This is a private matter between Mr. Horner and another, and it would be inappropriate for Red Bull to comment on this." At the same time, Horner reaffirmed his denial of any wrongdoing in response to the leaked messages. Speaking to Dutch newspaper De Telegraaf, Jos Verstappen refuted being the source of the leaked messages. "But why would I do that? Max has a contract with Red Bull until 2028, is performing great and feels at home here," he said. "I have no interest in that at all." Reportedly, Jos Verstappen has hinted at the possibility of his son, three-time champion Max Verstappen, considering a move away from Red Bull racing. Against a backdrop of internal tension and external scrutiny, Jos Verstappen has reportedly expressed his dissatisfaction with the current situation within the team. This discontent primarily revolves around Christian Horner, the team's principal, who has faced allegations of misconduct. The Telegraph reported an intriguing possibility when they said, "But there is also the small possibility that Verstappen could trade Red Bull for Mercedes." Wolff tried to sign the Dutch driver before as a junior, but missed out as both Nico Rosberg and Hamilton had long-term deals. If Horner stays and Max remains loyal to his father, he may have to find a new seat. Such is in the apparent enmity between Verstappen's son and Horner. He is understood to have told friends his son will move from Red Bull if he has to. The notion of the Dutchman departing from the Milton Keynes team at this juncture may seem far-fetched, considering their current dominance over the grid. However, reports suggest that the option is on the table. F1 Insider has indicated that the 26-year-old would have the freedom to leave if another pivotal figure at Red Bull, namely Helmut Marko, decides to step down. According to reports, there's purportedly an exit clause in the Dutchman's Red Bull contract which extends until 2028, allowing Verstappen to depart immediately if Marko resigns. This scenario could gain traction in light of recent events, particularly the investigation into Christian Horner. F1 Insider approached Marko for comment on this matter, to which he responded, "The internal investigations have been completed. I won't say anything more about it. As far as I'm concerned, I won't stand in Max's way should he decide to leave." Gerhard Berger, a well-known Helmut Marko confidant, admitted to F1 Insider that, "As of now, Horner stays, Helmut Marko and Adrian Newey quit, and Max goes to Mercedes." Following his earlier statement deeming the Christian Horner situation as damaging to F1, reports suggest that FI President Mohammed Ben Sulayem approached Max Verstappen, urging him to publicly support his team boss. This purported conversation occurred after Verstappen's diplomatic remark praising Horner as an incredible team boss during the Bahrain weekend. When questioned about his faith in Horner, the Dutchman replied, "Listen, when I look at how Christian operates within the team, he has been an incredible team boss, so absolutely from the performance side of things, you can't even question that. So that's what I'm also dealing with. I speak to Christian a lot, and also, of course, throughout the weekend here, he's fully committed to the team. He's also here for the performance, of course, probably a little bit distracted, But like I said before, we just focus on the performance side of things, and that's how we all work together. Speaking of Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the FIA president is currently under investigation for alleged interference regarding a Formula One race result. A whistleblower has reportedly informed the FIA that Ben Sulayem intervened to overturn a penalty imposed on Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso during the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. According to a report by an FIA compliance officer to its ethics committee, which has been reviewed by BBC Sport, the claim alleges that Mohammed Ben Sulayem intervened by calling Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the FIA's vice president for sport for the Middle East and North Africa region, who was present at the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in an official capacity. The whistleblower alleges that Ben Sulayem expressed his view that Fernando Alonso's penalty should be revoked. Ben Sulayem and the FIA have not yet responded to requests for comment. According to the report by compliance officer Paolo Bassari, Fernando Alonso had received a 10-second penalty for maintenance performed on his car while serving a prior 5-second penalty. The whistleblower alleged that Mohammed Ben Sulayem attempted to influence the stewards to reverse their decision to penalise Alonso. The ethics committee is anticipated to require 4 to 6 weeks to release its report. The penalty under scrutiny caused Fernando Alonso to drop from third place, trailing Red Bull drivers Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, to fourth, also behind Mercedes' George Russell. Removing the penalty reinstated Alonso to a podium position. Also, BBC Sport has corroborated this information with numerous senior figures at high levels in F1 and individuals close to the FIA. While none were willing to provide on-the-record statements, they all confirmed having the same information. Alonso initially received a 5-second penalty for positioning his car partially outside his starting box on the grid for the race. This penalty was served during Alonso's first pit stop. However, the two-time champion was subsequently handed a 10-second penalty because Aston Martin was deemed to have violated the rules by conducting work on his car. The penalty was imposed because Alonso's car was touched by the rear jack before the full-time duration had elapsed, which violated F1 rules. However, the stewards justified overturning the decision at the time by referring to a discussion held between F1 teams and the FIA regarding the topic of conducting work on cars while serving a penalty in the pits. We concluded that there was no clear agreement, as was suggested to the stewards previously, that could be relied upon to determine that parties had agreed that a jack touching a car would amount to working on the car. At that time, Article 54.4c of the sporting regulations read, "While a car is stationary in the pit lane as a result of incurring a penalty in accordance with Articles 54.3a or 54.3b above, it may not be worked on until the car has been stationary for the duration of the penalty." Following the race and the Alonso incident, an additional sentence was added to the regulation. In this context, touching the car or driver by hand or tools or equipment will all constitute working. The disclosure of an attempt to intervene in the penalty decision is the most recent in a series of controversies involving Ben Sulayem since his election in December 2021. In the most recent development, the FIA initiated a compliance inquiry into Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff and his wife Susie, following claims in a magazine alleging a conflict of interest. The inquiry was swiftly withdrawn after only 2 days, prompted by vehement objections from Mercedes, Formula One, and the other 9 teams, all of whom denied lodging any complaints. Insiders suggest that the FIA could potentially face legal repercussions regarding the matter involving the Wolffs. During 2022, Mohammed Ben Sulayem's inaugural year in office, a string of controversies arose, sparking widespread apprehension within F1 about his presidency. Senior figures within the sport called for his replacement. In response to mounting pressure during the winter of 2022-23, Ben Sulayem announced his intention to scale back direct involvement in F1, asserting that his goal was to serve as a non-executive president. The controversies surrounding Ben Sulayem's tenure included, among other things, blocking an agreement between the teams and the commercial rights holder for 6 months to double the number of sprint weekends for 2023, receiving a cease and desist letter from F1's lawyers after his response on social media to a story alleging Saudi Arabia's public investment fund attempted to purchase the sport for $20 billion, and the discovery of a historical website quoting him making misogynistic remarks. Ben Sulayem has stated that his intervention regarding the sprints was aimed at ensuring the FIA had adequate resources to manage the change, but he has refrained from commenting on the cease and desist letter. Regarding historical sexist remarks on his website in an interview with the Press Association last November, he defended his position by stating, "Well, what did I say if I said it? Let's assume it was me. I tell you exactly what it said. It says, 'I hate when women think they are smarter than us.' but they hate when men think they are smarter than them. Did I say we are smarter? No. Did I say they are less smarter? No. For God's sake, if that is the only thing they have against me, please be my guest. You can do worse than that. It's only been a handful of days since the season began, and there's already enough drama to last us the entire year. Which side are you on in the Jos Verstappen-Christian Horner war? And would you still trust Mohammed Ben Sulayem with being FIA president after recent allegations of him trying to tamper with races? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.